What up, y'all? So, we got the card changes, and a lot of them straight up are pretty in line with what I was thinking. Obsessive Technician goes from a 2/5 to a 3/5. Nothing crazy, but gives them a little bit more power. I think it helps them keep up with some of the aggro decks out there. Rune Totem, just as I suspected, went to 3 spells from 2 spells. So this will hopefully slow them down enough. I'm very curious if this will put them in that Murloc territory, just like I was talking about happened with the quest for Paladin, where when it went from 4 Murlocs to 5 Murlocs to grant an additional +1/+1, it completely slowed it down and took it out of viability for being a tier 1 deck. So this I think this is still gonna obviously see some play. It's just we're gonna see how good it actually is now. There's a couple of wild changes, but I don't really care about those. So just as suspected, Wildwood Circle, 4 mana now. Crystal Spine Cub, a 1/1 instead of a 1/2. Pretty reasonable. It is interesting that it's still just +1/+1. I was thinking it would make this card a lot more fair if you could keep it a 1/2 and make this +1/+0, but I don't know. Is what it is. I think a 1 mana card that gains +1/+1 pretty much every turn, in addition to whatever other stat buffs you can give it, can get out of hand. So we'll see how much that ends up defining the metagame. The Black Blood, still unplayable. It's a bummer. So it went from a 4/8 to a 5/9. Really makes no difference at all in my opinion. Moonwell, same thing. 6 mana, probably doesn't make that much of a difference. No card text change or anything. Maniacal Follower, this one is interesting. Going to a 4/1 I find really fascinating. This makes this much more aggressive, and I think Rogue, what is it, Spy Mistress is something that the Rogue decks have been playing, the 1 mana 3/1 with stealth, so I think Rogue has the potential to be much more aggressive if they're just doing these like really heavy attack minions, especially with stealth. Could be interesting to see how that plays out for them, especially considering both of the Shaman cards, Flight of the Firehawk and Skywall Sentinel, a little bit worse. Going to a 0/2 for this is fine. I guess 3 was just a little crazy in terms of health. And Flight of the Firehawk, really interesting to go to +1/+1. I think this makes this a very fair card, but still a reasonable card to create card advantage, and just still solid. +2/+2 was bonkers. So for this to go +1/+1, I think makes this right on the edge of powerful, but not falling off a cliff powerful, which is, I think, the sweet spot for most gaming. And then Gladiatorial Combat. Thankfully, only costs 6 now. I was really concerned about this one when I saw that they were going to nerf it in some way, but going from 5 to 6 mana, not the end of the world, thank goodness. So Arena Warrior is still a thing. Herald Shaman is definitely still going to be a thing, just maybe not as oppressive as it was before. Rogue could be a little better, but I doubt this one teeny stat buff is going to make a huge difference. I think the thing that makes a bigger difference for Rogue is the nerfs to other classes as opposed to the benefits that they're gaining. Priest, essentially the same. Druid, I think, is probably going to see a resurgence of more aggro Druid as opposed to the specifically imbued Druid decks. Like if we go more for, the Crystal Spine Cubs and the aggressive elements like Forest Gift and Mark of the Wild on Cub on turn 2, just, things like that, where you're just like, bam, 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 play a bunch of dudes, pump them up and attack. Wildwood Circle, still playable, a little bit slower, but I think that's fine. This is probably for the better, because cards like this, you want people to have to work a little bit for them, so... but that's essentially it. Only other thing I'll say is it's crazy to see Astral Communion finally get a nerf. This card used to be just absolutely bonkers at 4 mana, so it's really funny for me to see this to go to 5 mana finally. It's been that much of a problem for this long. If you know, you know. That's all I'll say about that. But peace and love, guys. I appreciate you watching. Thanks for following. Let me know what you think is coming in the metagame in the comments and all that fun stuff. Peace and love.